Now, I've spent my career in the trenches, where crimes occur, where innocents are victimized, even slaughtered. I have actually fought on that battlefield for more than 3 decades, where justice is sought for victims. And I have long fought for a level playing field, particularly for women, the often silent and forgotten victims of crime. I have even advocated changing the name of the criminal justice system to the victim's justice system. The victim who never chose to be a part of the criminal justice system in the first place. I started the first domestic violence unit in the prosecutor's office in the nation in the late 1970s. As district attorney, I created a sex crimes bureau. My crusade for women and children existed long before the hashtag #MeToo movement. I respect facts, I know the law, and I understand what's at stake. Our criminal justice system is the most revered in the world. The constitutional rights of all Americans are etched in stone. And it is in this context that I analyze the situation we're in now. Number one, due process requires equal protection under the law for the victim as well as the accused. Number two, in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy trial. Number three, no warrant shall issue or criminal charge filed without probable cause. Number four, the accused has the right to a trial by an impartial jury, the right to remain silent, the right to not only confront his accuser, but to cross-examine as well. Number five, the burden of proof in every criminal case is beyond a reasonable doubt, and that burden of proof is on the prosecutor. Number six, as for the accused, there is absolutely no burden to speak or even present a case. Now, over the years, we've learned certain facts. Number one, sex crimes are underreported because of the victim's fears of not being believed or her fear of the perpetrator. Number two, the recidivism rate of sex offenders is estimated to be as high as 70%. So let us apply these foundational truths to the Christine Ford and Brett Kavanaugh situation. What motivation might someone have to come forward 36 years after an event? And how credible can such an accusation be? Some members of Congress don't care about any of this. The woman has to be believed and he is guilty. Forget a trial, due process, or even hearing from the victim. The Constitution be damned.
I believe Dr. Blasey Ford because she's telling the truth.
Not only do women like Dr. Ford, who bravely comes forward, need to be heard, but they need to be believed. They need to be believed.
I believe Dr. Ford. I believe the survivor here. There's every reason to believe her.
I believe Professor Ford. I think she's credible, and I think when the investigation is finished and when she testifies and Judge Kavanaugh testifies, I think a majority of senators will find her credible.
The dismissal of the fundamental rules of our justice system by congressmen, senators, congresswomen is stunning. And anyone who's prosecuted sex crimes cases knows that. Criminals rarely commit crimes in public or while a videotape is running. So in addition to the he said, she said, we look for corroborating evidence after we hear the core accusation of who, when, where, and how. Now, we don't expect minuscule details when a victim is being traumatized, but here, the alleged victim does not know the address, the date, the owner of the house, how she got home that night. Why? What was her appearance when she got home? She was 15. Did her mother see her? Did she suffer a behavioral change? Did her grades go down? To whom did she complain and when? In sex crimes cases in particular, recent outcry is compelling and reliable. When the memory is fresh, is when you would most expect the complaint. When is the first time she even used the name Kavanaugh? Here, there is no indication of any of that. Physical evidence such as torn clothes, injuries, visits to a doctor, a hospital, photographs, there is none. Corroborating witnesses? Not only are there none, but one who just reported that she heard about this at school retracted her story saying, well, I didn't think I'd actually have to defend that. A man's reputation, family, career, and civil liberties are at stake. And you make a claim, and you didn't think you had to be honest? And finally, does the complaint ring true? And a complaint does not gain credibility based on the name of the accused. If that were the case, Bill Clinton's accusers would certainly have gotten their day in court. And what of the credibility and background of the accused? 65 women who've gone to school with him, dated him, worked for him, and know him have come forward to say that his whole life has been about respecting women. Why? If there is such a high recidivism rate, a repeat of these crimes in violent sex crimes cases, have we never heard anything like this after 6 FBI investigations? And motivation. Whenever a complaint is old, any prosecutor would ask, why now? Dr. Ford said she was outed. Well, it was she who contacted 2 Democrat congresswomen 6 weeks before she came forward, and 36 years after it allegedly happened. And why take a lie detector test? If she believed what she was saying, why would she need an outsider to affirm whether what she's saying is true? Might it be part of a long-hatched plan to reveal? Investigators asked for lie detector tests. And by the way, they are so unreliable that I fought for a law in New York that wouldn't allow police to require women to take lie detector tests because they are unreliable. Now, while Ford is highly political, one incident is even more compelling. Do you remember when the president nominated Brett Kavanaugh, we heard that Kavanaugh's mother was a judge? Ford's parents, follow me, Ford's parents had a foreclosure claim against them and their home in 1996 in Maryland. Ford's parents lost their home. The judge ruled against them. The judge was a woman. The judge was Brett Kavanaugh's mother. Many times, victims are teed up by attorneys who want to become famous or rich. Sometimes they're even used by politicians. Take a look.
She's not prepared to talk with them at a hearing on Monday. This just came out 48 hours ago.
No, not 48 hours ago, 36 years ago. Delay becomes even more absurd when she needs to drive across the country to Washington because she won't or can't fly. She was an intern in Hawaii a few years ago. How did she make that trip? Did she drive or surf across the ocean from California to Hawaii? And what's with this? We need the FBI. There's no federal crime here. They keep saying we need the FBI, but they don't ask for it because they know it can't happen. If you want an investigation, call the local police or 911. My friends, truth and justice and law and order don't change depending on the political parties. Women are to be believed not because a political party thinks they should be, but when they sound credible and present a believable scenario. And believability does not depend on the party of the complainant. And all men who were accused have a right to be cloaked in the presumption of innocence unless and until proof beyond a reasonable doubt shatters that presumption. And it matters not what your politics are. That Lady Justice is blind has been the truth in our system from time immemorial. I have honored that lady. I've admired her, and I've been in awe of her for as long as I can remember. But now I fear for her. I fear for Lady Justice. But not just Lady Justice. Our institutions and our bedrock constitutional rules that have made America what Ronald Reagan referred to as the shining city on the hill. We can never allow that to happen. And that's my open. Don't forget my new book, New York Times #1 bestseller, Liars, Leakers, and Liberals, The Case Against the Anti-Trump Conspiracy, is in bookstores near you. And if you're a fan of the show, or you like my opens, you might want to get a copy.